How much alcohol is too much alcohol? We all know alcohol is not healthy, but plenty of us still drink it. I mean, me included. But how much alcohol is too much? How much alcohol should you be drinking each week? In this episode, I'll break down the 6 things to keep in mind when regulating your alcohol consumption so you can live a healthier, less hungover life. You're listening to the Best You podcast, home to the 10-week transformation where we help you lose fat, build muscle, and gain confidence. My name is Nick Carrier, and I've done personal training and group fitness since 2016 and have coached 512 people to transform their body and their habits in our 10-week transformation program. My mission is to help you become the healthiest, most confident version of yourself so you can get closer to your best you. If you're ready to learn how much alcohol is too much alcohol, then let's dive in. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 10WT Tips. Man, oh man, is this a good one today. Alcohol consumption. Now, look, I'm going to be the first to say that I drink alcohol. Now, most of the time, I would say 9 out of 10 times, I don't drink alcohol Monday through Thursday. The 1 out of 10 times where I would drink alcohol Monday through Thursday is if there's just a scenario that calls for it. If you're going out with friends or there's this particular event. But if I'm drinking Monday through Thursday, you bet your bottom dollar I'm not going to be having more than 2, maximum 3 drinks, because I never let alcohol consumption during the week affect the way I feel and my productivity and my exercise during the week. And so that's one of the things I wanted to mention right off the bat. But again, when I drink during the weekends, if it's football season, you know I'm having a number of beers watching the Bulldogs. If there's a golf tournament on, or if there's something else that I'm watching or a social event, like, I'm definitely going to be drinking some alcohol. But we all know that excess alcohol is definitely not healthy for us. And we all know that it holds us back from achieving our health and fitness goals. I mean, of the 512 people that I've coached thus far in the 10-week transformation, alcohol is almost at least half of the people probably have alcohol regulation or decreased alcohol consumption as a goal. I also know that before I dive into this, that alcohol can be a triggering conversation because some people really struggle with alcohol consumption. And if that's you, then I'd recommend going to get professional help. But for the person out there that is similar to me, who enjoys drinking alcohol, doesn't really have a problem with it, but it can sometimes hold you back from achieving your health and fitness goals, then this episode is for you. Now, again, real quickly before diving into these 6 things, I'm not here to tell you how much alcohol is really too much. I just put that as the title of the episode so you would start listening to these tips, because how much alcohol is too much is very dependent on you, dependent on your goals, dependent on your situation. It's depending on so many different things. So I'm not here to tell you a prescription of like you need to drink less than this number of drinks each week. I'll give you a little bit of a protocol from that standpoint, but I wanted to make sure I say that. I mean, look, alcohol kills brain cells, it prevents fat loss, it decreases motivation, and hangovers kill execution. So that is why the regulation of alcohol consumption is critical to achieving your health and fitness goals. Okay, here we go. Let's dive in. The 6 things to keep in mind when it comes to thinking about how much alcohol is too much or how to regulate your alcohol consumption. Number 1 is think about drinking less than you currently do, whatever that means for you. Now, for some of you, that's going to mean getting some self-awareness around, on average, about how many drinks do I currently have each week. Some of you guys out there have a glass of wine every night. Some of you guys might have a couple glasses of wine every night. Some of you guys might have a beer every night. Some of you guys might just absolutely crush it on the weekends and have 15 drinks over the weekend. I'm not here to criticize. I'm not here to judge. I've done probably both of those at some point during some weeks, but the first step is drinking less than you currently do, and that requires you to gain self-awareness around what you currently do. And so I would say to think about coming up with an average number. Let's say you currently on average drink 10 alcoholic beverages a week. Okay, if you currently drink 10 a week, let's try to decrease that average to 8. Let's try to decrease that average to 7. And let's go with there. That's one way to consider how to regulate your alcohol consumption. The second thing to keep in mind is a little bit more of a protocol, and this is having 5 to 8 drinks on average per week. Some weeks it can be more, some weeks it can be less, and you can also spread out that alcohol across your days. Now, that 5 to drinks on average per week, that's something that's hard for me to come up with a pinpoint number and protocol for, because Lord knows that there are plenty of weeks where I have more than 8 drinks. If there's a big football game or something like that, or a big social event or a party, then I might have more than 8 drinks on a given week. But there's also weeks where I have less than 5. And so I know that for me, this is really a good protocol, the thinking of 5 to 8 drinks on average per week, because that gets me thinking, okay, let's say I drink on Friday and on Saturday, because that might be a typical thing. If I drink 4 or more drinks on both of those days, on Sunday, I'm not going to be feeling very good. If I have a long drinking day, let's say on Saturday, then that long drinking day, if I space out drinking from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., then those drinks can rack up relatively quickly. If I'm going to a wedding and where people are drinking at noon and the dance floor is open till 10 p.m., you can rack up a number of drinks from a long day like that. So those kind of days are the above average, right? Those are the above average weeks. But generally, I try to stick between 5 and 8 drinks per week. You can come up with your own little protocol based off of that, but that's what I like to follow. The third thing to keep in mind, and I love this mindset shift, and this is something that I've stole a while back from one of my clients, and it's don't drink to drink, drink to celebrate. Man, how good of a mindset shift is that? Don't drink to drink, drink to celebrate. Because when you're drinking to drink, that's mindless. When you're drinking to celebrate, that's intentional. And it's mindless living that gets us into trouble. It's intentional living that leads us to success. So make sure that on a regular basis during the week, during the weekends, that you're not just drinking to drink just because it's there, just because you're tired and you're bored, but you're actually drinking to celebrate something. You're drinking intentionally because you want to. Number 4, don't make it mindless. And that kind of is a piggyback off of the last one. But making sure that when you're drinking, you don't just go drink after drink without really knowing how many you're actually throwing down. I know that oftentimes if people go to a bar or a party or a wedding or any kind of special event, sometimes people will go a couple of hours slugging drinks and they have no idea how many they had. And I'm not saying that you necessarily always need to be counting your drinks, but when you count and you're mindful, you're putting yourself in a whole lot better of a situation and an opportunity to feel better the next day and an opportunity to actually hit your goals. So make sure your alcohol consumption isn't mindless and you're not just throwing down drinks without too much awareness of how many you're putting down. So those are the first 4 things to keep in mind. Before I get into the last 2, I want to mention about the virtual 10-week transformation. Y'all, the virtual 10-week transformation is something that I am super excited about, continually getting more excited about, because the first 17 people who did this thing absolutely loved it and they're getting ready to run it back, and a lot of them are going to be doing it again. And so you should check out what the virtual 10-week transformation is all about by trying our 1-week free trial. Go to nickcarrier.com/free trial and you'll receive 3 of the video workouts, 20 healthy recipes, and a video of a overview of my goal setting framework. Go to nickcarrier.com/free trial. Let's get back to the last 2 things to keep in mind when thinking about how much alcohol is too much. Number 5 is be wary of the kind of alcohol that you're having. There's a difference between margarita and a tequila soda. Sure, they both have tequila, but margarita is going to have a whole hell of a lot more calories than something like a tequila soda. Think about an IPA versus a light beer. The number of calories that are in both of those is radically different. Something like a Long Island iced tea versus a vodka soda. Sure, both have vodka. Long Island iced tea has a lot of different alcohols in it. But again, the total number of calories in them is 10 times different. So if you can be wary of the kind of alcohol choices that you're making, you can set yourself up for success so much more when it comes to not putting just empty calories into your system. So be wary of the kind of alcohol that you're consuming. And then the 6th and final thing to keep in mind, and this is probably the thing that I keep in mind most when I'm actually drinking, and that is don't be hungover tomorrow. Don't be hungover tomorrow. I'll be vulnerable here for just a second. When I was in college, I'll never forget when my dad told me, Nick, you should never drink to the point where you feel hungover. And when I heard that in college, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Because in college, I drank to the point of getting hungover plenty. Now I'm like, wow, that makes so much sense. Like that is the number one thing that I actually keep top of mind now is sure, drink, have a good time, but don't drink to get hungover, because I kind of have this now like internal barometer of what drink kind of puts me over the edge. And I'm really good about holding myself back from taking that drink so that I don't feel like crap the next day. Now, am I going to feel like unicorns and rainbows and butterflies the next day after I drink? Well, no, but I'm not getting to the point where I'm hungover and I'm not able to have a productive day. I'm not able to exercise and stuff like that. So the last thing that I always keep in mind when I'm drinking is don't drink to get hungover. Don't drink enough to the point where you would get hungover. I know this one was a little bit different today. How much alcohol is too much alcohol? I never would obviously promote drinking alcohol, but I would never tell anybody to completely stop drinking alcohol. That is for a medical professional to tell somebody that alcohol is their issue, because I never tell people to do something that I'm not willing and able to do myself. And I love a ice cold beer. I love a good cocktail. I love Moscow Mules. That's probably my favorite cocktail. I love margaritas. I love all that stuff. But I ensure that those things don't hold me back from achieving my health and fitness goals. I make sure that that doesn't lead me to being hungover and not productive and not effective with my days. And so I hope something here that you learned today, something that you can take away and to apply into your life and apply into your maybe alcohol consumption or alcohol regulation goal, if you will. If so, let me know. Let me know which one is going to work best for you, which one you're going to try by DMing me on Instagram at carrier_bestyou. And also make sure that you try out the 1 week free trial of the virtual 10-week transformation by going to nickcarrier.com/free trial. But I hope today's episode helps you drink a little bit less, live a little bit less hungover of a life, and helps you get closer and closer to your best you.